This video is going to look at different caves found throughout levels and in the abyssal sections of different biomes in Barotrauma. Caves in Barotrauma are where you will find high concentrations of minerals and plants to deconstruct into valuable resources, but they are also the location for killing monster nest and mining missions. Each cave is unique and has different hazards, some of which can kill you very easily. Starting off, let's look at the ice caves. These will probably have some of the smaller, less lethal monsters inside, as well as minerals to mine and potentially some of the harvestable plants. Some of the parts of the cave may be blocked off by icy sections, but these are easily removed with the plasma cutter. In addition to the icy sections, there are small shards of ice and bigger ice pillars that can spawn as well. These hazards do damage to you if you get too close. They do laceration for strength 20, bleeding for strength 20, and can stun you for up to 0.5 seconds. You can either choose not to go through the crystals or instead use a plasma cutter to destroy them. The ice caves can spawn in the cold caverns or as an abyssal island, which we'll talk about later on. Moving on, we have the rock cave. Rock caves can spawn in all the biomes, and as the name suggests, they have a very plain and rocky visual look. The distinguishing feature here is that these caves have small vents that spew out a greenish smoke. This is a toxic gas, which is a hazard. If you travel inside its cloud, your oxygen supply will rapidly deplete. The only way to avoid this is not to go through the gas. So be sure to take extra oxygen cylinders on your caving adventures. Next, we have the crystal caves. These spawn in the cold caverns and in the Great Sea. Again, these are filled with rich minerals, plants, and monsters. These caves are defined by their crystal structures that are attached to the walls throughout. These crystals are again a hazard, but visually look very different from the ice cave. They cause the same amount of damage and can also easily be removed with a plasma cutter. The next set of caves we have are the mushroom caves. These only spawn in the aphotic plateau. These are lush floral caves teeming with colourful, large, soft, and hard coral decorations, which contain some of the prettiest artwork in the game. However, littered throughout this underwater kingdom, there are also exploding mushrooms. These bright green coral-like spores expand when you begin to get too close, and upon their maximum expansion, they will trigger an explosion, dealing damage to you. This will cause explosive damage for strength 5, burn for 15, and can stun you for up to 1 second. This is within a radius of 3 meters. You can easily destroy these mushrooms from a safe distance with a plasma cutter. In addition to the exploding spores, there are also very faint spores that you will swim through. These are much harder to spot, and whilst they have no immediate hazardous effect, they will add minor psychosis that builds up over time. So the longer you spend in this cave, the more you will begin to see and hear things that aren't really there. The next cave we have is the forest cave. This can spawn in the European Ridge and the Aphotic Plateau. Visually, this is an overgrown swamp-like cave with long tree-like branches coming from the rocks. These branches are actually a hazard that will slow down your character's swim speed. Without an underwater scooter, it will take you a very long time to navigate through these branches. On their own, they're not so bad. However, this cave is also littered with toxic gas vents that can be spawned underneath the branches. This can be deadly if you have not brought enough oxygen to deal with the toxic gas. Finally, for the cave section, we have the Bioluminescent Cave, also dubbed the Hallucinogenic Cave. This cave will only spawn in the Great Sea or the hydrothermal wastes. It is by far one of the more fun adventures in the game. It contains hard and soft coral that constantly emits light, meaning you're able to see everything inside the cave without assistance from your scooter or diving suit light. Beyond the beautiful flora, the cave also affects your character, as it provides the affliction hallucination constantly. This will warp your camera's view, and you will begin to see other strange visual effects. A bit like my merch that has a special Black Friday Cyber Monday deal, as well as an incredibly limited time Ballast Bang winter hoodie, links in the video description below. Moving on, we have the Abyssal Islands. These are random spawns that only occur deep in the the abyss. They contain rare alien resources including Dementonite, Physicorium, Fulgarium, Incendium, and Parallaxis. However, sometimes these islands also spawn the other regular minerals. You will need to explore inside and out to find the clusters littered around the islands. These islands can spawn as one of the different variations of the caves, meaning you will see the visual layouts and hazards of the variations selected within the correct biome that cave can spawn. Be warned though, great rewards are not without their risks, as down in the abyss, the biggest and deadliest monsters in the game also lurk. Beyond the Abyssal Islands, there is one last hazard to talk about: volcanic vents. These can only spawn at the bottom of the abyss, and if your submarine unfortunately sinks down to that depth or gets too close, these vents will pierce through your submarine as they do 10 structural damage to your hulls. These will also superheat the water outside the submarine that will cause burning damage for strength 20 if your character is within the water around it. Check out my links below to support me, and until next time, peace. A huge shout out to all my supporters, especially the ones on Patreon and YouTube. Without you, I wouldn't be able to do any of this. Thank you.
Na, na, na.